Hey guys, so this is the first problem in the Chapter 9 homework assignment, and so I just someone was asking about it, so I wanted to work it out for you. So here we go. I'll just jump into it. Calculate the p-value for the following conditions and determine whether or not to reject the null hypothesis. So the p-value is just the probability value, the probability of hitting some point that is at least as extreme as the zx bar value that's given. So the way I'm going to set this up is I'm going to do the z of x bar, which is the one that's given to us, and then the alpha. I don't even really need the alpha on here, but it'll just have it there so I can compare it. And then I'm going to find the probability of being less than the zx bar and the probability of being more or greater than the zx bar. Okay, because some of these are greater or less type of scenarios. Okay, my microphone is having a hard time today, and I'm afraid it's causing problems. The sound for you guys. Check it real fast. Yeah, it seems like it's working. So anyway, all right. So my zx bar on on letter A here is 1.20. My alpha is 0.1. Okay. So to find the probability of it being less than 1.2, I'm just going to do equal norm dot s. The s stands for standardized, meaning it's in z's for its units, dot dist. Then I'll choose my z and I'll say true on the cumulative. So that's the probability that it's less than that amount. And then to find the probability that it's more, I'll just say 1 minus the probability that it's less, because probabilities are always additive like that, where the probability of less than something added to the probability of more than something always adds up to 1. So in this case, because the z we're testing for is positive and it's a one-tailed test, I'm going to say the probability of that I'm looking for is the greater than probability. Think if this was like if we had a normal curve graphed here, we would say this z comes out over here at 0.88493 on the right-hand side of the curve. So anything to the left of it is there's an 88.493% probability of having a value to the left of it and a 11.507% chance of having a value to the right of it. That's all that means. Okay, so whenever we're dealing with a positive z of x bar, we're going to look for the probability of more. That's what it's looking for. So for ours is 0.151. And then it's going to ask us, all right, since our alpha is 0.1, do we reject or not reject the null hypothesis? And remember what we're saying is, if it's further away from the mean than our alpha, then we're not going to reject the null hypothesis. Okay, so if our p-value is greater, sorry, if the point is further away from the mean than we are, so if our probability or p-value is greater than the alpha, then we're not going to reject. Okay, so that's all you really have to remember is if the p-value is greater than the alpha, do not reject. If it's less than, we reject it. Because what we're saying is the probability of finding this number is 11.5%, but our alpha is set at 10%. So because of that, we do not reject the null hypothesis. The second one's really similar. I'm just going to come up here and change my z x bar to negative 2.65, because that's what it is on this second problem. And because it's a negative, I want to look at the probability that it's less than that, more, further away from the mean. The probability that it's further away from the mean than my zx bar is pretty tiny. It's 0.0040. Okay, so in this case, my p-value is less than, the probability of it being further away from the mean is less. So we're going to reject the null hypothesis. All right, on these next ones, they're two-tailed tests, okay? So the only thing we're gonna do different for that is I'll still put in my ZX bar, 2.1 on number C, or letter C. And then this is a probability if there was only one tail that we were looking at. And so we're just gonna multiply that by 2. Whoops. Okay. That times 2. And that's gonna be our p-value. So 0.0357. And then the same rule applies. If that's greater than our alpha, we do not reject. And if it's less than our alpha, we do. So our alpha is 0.1 on this one. Oh, I didn't change it before for this one, but it's 0.1 on this one. And this is 0.03, so that's less than, so we're gonna reject. All right, last one. Again, a two-tailed test, negative 1.59. Our alpha is 0.02. Same thing, we need, because we're doing, it's negative, so we're looking at less than, we're gonna say it equals 2 times the probability that it's less than. So our p-value here is 0.1118, or 11.18%. 11% is greater than 2%. So because it's greater, we're gonna do not reject the null hypothesis. And there you go. So there's the first problem. I hope that was helpful to you. And hope you have a great day.